right? And you mentioned Dave Ramsey in passing, but I think this is funny because in our past conversations, anytime Dave Ramsey comes up, you always have like that look right there on your face. You're always like, don't say it. So, Jason, what are your thoughts on Dave Ramsey?
Honestly, not a huge fan of his.
This.
I like the information he teaches. I believe everybody should have basic financial literacy. I believe people in general should have lower debt. They should have low expenses as they can, and they should look to increase their income. I, in general, agree with his principles.
Okay.
What I disagree with is that he teaches this budgeting, paying off debt, all that to generally poor and middle class people. And he makes money off of these people teaching these things while he lives a very lavish lifestyle in a $15-20 million house. Again, I want everybody to be wealthy. I have no problem with, I want to be extremely wealthy. I don't care if you have a $100 million house. I don't care,
right,
in general. But the way he presents the information, again, to generally poor and middle class people, and then he makes money off these people to buy a $15 house when he's talking about budgeting and paying off debt, that rubs me the wrong way.
Okay, so I have so many questions. Let's dive into this Dave Ramsey thing, because I think it'll also take us into further questions about debt and also maybe even some ethical questions. So you're saying that you don't like that he's living in a very expensive house when he's also preaching budgeting to other people. Well, isn't that you assuming that he can't afford the house he's in? I mean, what if he is living within his own budget? Doesn't he have the right to live there?
And that is a fair question, because I don't know what his net worth is. I know it's massive. I don't know what it is. So he can afford to live that lifestyle. But this, to me, is very similar to the preachers and the pastors who preach frugality and budgeting and stuff to their congregations.
Right.
But they drive around in Ferraris and Lamborghinis and stuff. And yes, I know this is the extreme example on both cases. But for those reasons, when it comes to Dave Ramsey,
right,
it rubs me the wrong way.
Do you feel like are you making an assumption that he is offering services to people that they don't need? I mean, it seems to me like he's kind of legit. He's selling them what they want.
I love that question. Back in the day, in the 1850s, there were things called snake oil salesmen. Again, I'm not saying Dave Ramsey's a snake oil salesman.
We're going there.
I'm not saying that. Okay. Because, again, I do agree with the principles he teaches. But the point you brought up was that he's giving the people what they want.
Yeah.
So were the snake oil salesmen back in the 1850s. They thought they were getting a remedy. They thought they were getting a remedy that was going to help them with migraines or headaches or whatever ailment they were dealing with. So they were selling them something that they wanted that would probably not help them. Again, Dave Ramsey's stuff, this is why he's not a snake oil salesman, because if people actually stick to his processes, it will work.
Okay.
But
the
problem is that he knows that 95+% of people that join his programs won't do what he's saying. And again, is that on him? Not necessarily. But he knows that's a marketing statistic that's been proven out over time. For every 100 people that buy your program, typically about 90 to 95% of people won't actually do what's in the program.
So are we holding that against him then? That he knows those people won't do it? I mean, I know most of the time that I'm working with anybody on anything, I can give away everything I know about anything, and most people won't follow through on it. So why does it make him any different?
It does not. I was using that to illustrate the example, but specifically to Dave Ramsey, it really for me is something that for Dave Ramsey.
He's so fired up on somebody. You just really not like this guy.
And again, nothing of this is personal. This is all like financial nerd stuff. Yes, that's what it is. And I couldn't quite figure out what it was.
Christina says,
that's what it was.
Giving them just enough, but never coaching into the money mindset aspect. I like the diet metaphor, actually. That makes sense. Okay, so what do you think
Yes,
of that?
I love that. And that's exactly two reasons why, Christina, you and I need to do a show. Second, that's exactly what I was trying to articulate that I was struggling with, is he does just the bare minimum to get these people's money. And then again, because they're generally poor and middle class, this might be literally some people's last dollars that they are giving them. But if they don't change the mindset, it doesn't matter how much budgeting you do, because frankly, you're going to hate it unless you completely change the mindset, which goes to the book that Christina, I think you and I have talked about this book before, Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. And changing your mindset when it comes to these kind of money issues. Because if you have, let's say you have a huge spending spouse, I'm not going to change her mindset. We've been together 18 years. I haven't been able to change her mindset because she doesn't want to change.
It took me a second to figure out what you did there. I'm sorry. Now it hit me. That was funny. Go ahead.
Yes.
Sorry.
I love my wife to death. We've been together 18 years. We're high school sweethearts. She likes to spend money. I don't.
Yeah.
And that's fine because that works for us. But unless somebody wants to change their mindset and actually change their habits, it doesn't matter what skills you learn, frankly, in any. And this is why in the Value Investing Masterclass, mindset is the very first thing I talk about in the course, is because if you don't have a value investor's mindset, it doesn't matter how many tools you know, doesn't matter how many valuations you know, doesn't matter anything about that, because you won't be able to have the mental skills to do it. And when I say that, that seems like patience. That seems like doing more work than other people. It's those kind of things. So if you don't have that mindset, yes, Christina, that was a great point. Thank you.
I really love this. And she says also that it's a lifestyle change that's the real need. So what we're talking about here then is Dave Ramsey we might be insinuating that Dave Ramsey is
Ron,
offering
yes.
what they want. Hi, Ron.
Thanks,
It's nice to see you. Is offering what they want, but not necessarily what they actually need. And he's capitalizing on what they want, not what they need. So perhaps the issue you're having here, because you are a guy that really likes to take care of your people, he's not taking care of them.
Yeah, especially not in the way that I would take care of them.
Okay, makes sense.
And again, that's a personal philosophy thing. I don't know. I don't know him personally. But also the way he presents his information bothers me too, is if you're not doing these things, and again, maybe this is just my perception.
Right.
But if you aren't doing these things and you're poor, then sucks for you.
Yeah. Okay.
Again, maybe that's my perception, but that's kind of how I see it.
Makes sense. I love this. Ron says each marriage has at least one spender. That might be true. maybe a different aspect, but it might be true. I think, Ron, you and Jason can go out and have a beer and commiserate one day. You guys will be fine. Christina says it's like giving you an aspirin to stop the pain, but never digging into why the pain is there. And that's that back to that mindset. Okay, so on this aspect, I was prepared to ask a few more pushback questions about Dave Ramsey. But the thing is, as a business owner, it is our responsibility to dig into what do our clients, what do our customers actually need, and how can we truly serve them. And if we're not doing that, then I think we're perhaps missing a very important ethical step there. And it seems to me like you feel as though that step may not have been taken. And I think I get it.
Yes. And Henry Ford had a great quote about this back when he invented the car and kind of made it mass produced, the Model T and all that.
Right.
He said, if I would have asked people what they wanted, they would have told me a faster horse and buggy.
Yeah. Yeah. He gave them what they needed.
So he gave them what they needed. And that's the whole Batman thing. I'm not the hero they want, but I'm the hero they deserve, or something like that. I don't know the exact
Love it. Makes sense. All right.